Ferrari had spent decades defining what a supercar was. So, when Honda built an all-aluminium mid-engine rival in Japan, the verdict was swift: a toy. Too reliable, too usable, too sensible to matter. Then in early 1989, Ayrton Senna climbed into the prototype at Suzuka and found a chassis flaw so revealing it wouldn't just transform the NSX, it would reach all the way into Ferrari's own cockpit. Honda's entry into the high-performance arena bore a designation that laid bare its technological ambitions, the New Sports Car Experimental, or NSX. Honda avoided styling gimmicks and marketing novelties, choosing instead to design the vehicle with an all-aluminium monocoque chassis. This production car first slashed curb weight while maintaining immense structural rigidity. The target of this discipline was clear: challenge the mid-engine supremacy of Europe's elite marques, specifically the dominant V8 platforms of Maranello. When the NSX debuted at the 1990 North American International Auto Show, the automotive establishment met this technical masterclass with immediate cold skepticism. To traditionalists, an exotic machine required temperamental behavior, heavy controls, and an expectation of mechanical failure to prove its pedigree. Honda's offering systematically violated these unwritten rules. It started every time. The cabin offered clear outward visibility, the air conditioning blew cold, and the clutch did not require physical strain to operate on crowded streets. In the closed circles of the European establishment, these triumphs of human engineering were treated as weaknesses. A car that was usable and dependable was deemed too sensible to possess true character. Critics in Ferrari's orbit openly mocked its modest 3-liter V6 engine, framing the Japanese creation as a toy for engineers rather than a vehicle for real drivers. They dismissed its clean packaging as sterile, confident that heritage alone would protect their market dominance. This created a direct confrontation between old-world badge prestige and relentless technical discipline. In February 1989, Honda moved the dispute past marketing arguments and onto the asphalt of the Suzuka circuit. The transition arrived in the person of Ayrton Senna. The reigning Formula One world champion was in Japan conducting winter testing for his McLaren Honda race car when development engineers presented him with the pre-production NSX prototype. European exotic manufacturers rarely granted active Grand Prix champions direct, unvarnished access to early road car prototypes. Honda, however, bypassed the traditional boundary between motorsport and mass production. Senna approached the machine with a quiet, demanding focus, rather than treating the test as a ceremonial public relations stunt. He analyzed the prototype with the same analytical intensity he brought to his Grand Prix cockpit. By placing their secret project in his hands, Honda shifted the burden of proof from old-world heritage to objective handling physics. The evaluation of this new challenger was no longer a debate over social status or dealer snobbery. It was now a question of pure mechanical capability, judged by the most formidable driver in the world. Ayrton Senna strapped into the pre-production prototype at Suzuka in February 1989. The car he drove represented years of clean-sheet engineering, but to a driver whose life was measured in thousandths of a second, the aluminum structure revealed an immediate vulnerability. Pushing the vehicle through the high G sweeps of the Japanese track, Senna felt an instability that escaped conventional testing instruments. The chassis flexed under heavy lateral load. Instead of offering polite diplomatic praise to his engine suppliers, Senna delivered a blunt mechanical assessment. He reported that the machine felt fragile, describing a subtle wallow at high speed. It was a precise description of structural yield, a physical bending of the aluminum monocoque that compromised the suspension geometry when the chassis experienced maximum lateral force. In the hands of a lesser development team, feedback of this nature from a high-profile racing driver might have been dismissed as an elite racer's bias toward track cars. But Honda's R&D department treated the Grand Prix champion's observation as an objective diagnostic data point, initiating a thorough engineering revision. The development team, led by engineers determined to prove their technical capability, returned to the drawing board at the Waco R&D Center. They initiated a systematic structural overhaul to address the deflections Senna had exposed. Rather than abandoning the lightweight advantages of the all-aluminum monocoque, the team chose to reinforce the platform from within. Engineers thickened the rear bulkhead panels, integrated additional reinforcement ribs, and added extra gussets to the roof pillars and side sills. They welded new cross members directly into the floor pan, bridging the front and rear sections to construct a highly rigid, cohesive structure that resisted twisting. These structural modifications achieved a massive 50% increase in torsional rigidity before the vehicle began mass production. This meant the chassis could withstand extreme cornering forces with 50% less angular twist than the early prototype. This mechanical update required a complete retuning of the suspension and steering systems. Because the structural base no longer flexed under high-load cornering, the double wishbone suspension could now maintain its designed camber and toe settings. The engineers adjusted the spring rates, recalibrated the damper curves, and refined the steering rack to eliminate numbness and deliver precise, predictable feedback. This technical revision bridged the gap between top-tier motorsport and road car production. A mainstream manufacturer had allowed an active Formula One driver to alter their flagship car's physical architecture, and they chose to delay their schedule to execute the necessary changes. The massive gain in rigidity transformed the car's overall balance. The vehicle was no longer a collection of advanced components fighting a flexible chassis. It had become a unified, precise driving machine. When the vehicle eventually reached the global market, its exceptional handling and steering response were not the result of marketing claims, but the consequence of a driver who found a flaw, and a team that rebuilt their car to correct it. In August 1990, Road and Track published a multi-car shootout, pitting the newly released NSX directly against the Ferrari 348. The results shattered the old guard's assumptions. While critics had previously dismissed Honda's creation as an overly sensible appliance, the actual test data proved otherwise. The NSX dominated the performance charts, with its razor-sharp handling and high-speed braking capabilities becoming the definitive headline qualities. Maranello could no longer dismiss the Japanese challenger. The realization that a newcomer had systematically outclassed their flagship Vate forced a frantic internal re-evaluation at Ferrari. Leadership accelerated development of their next model, the F355, engineering it explicitly to address the handling precision and daily usability benchmarks established by Honda. When the F355 debuted in 1994, its refined chassis and improved ergonomics stood as direct physical proof of the pressure Honda had applied. The old world of inherited prestige had been forced to adapt to a new era of engineering discipline, proving that a machine once mocked as a toy could rewrite the rules of the supercar world. The NSX permanently changed global expectations by proving that exotic mid-engine performance did not require mechanical fragility or daily discomfort to be legitimate. For 3 decades of owners and enthusiasts, Ayrton Senna's direct physical involvement in reinforcing the chassis has cemented his personal connection to the car, turning a brief technical correction into an enduring piece of automotive mythology. Some historical accounts even claim that the NSX's driver-focused ergonomics and precise tactile feedback directly influenced the interior layout of Senna's own personal Ferrari, though archival records remain largely anecdotal. Yet the ultimate historical irony remains secure. The mid-engine machine, once dismissed by European rivals as a mere toy, ended up establishing the very parameters by which all modern supercars are now judged. Today, every modern supercar inherits this quiet revolution. By proving that technical discipline could dismantle old-world snobbery, the NSX permanently shifted the hierarchy of performance. Prestige no longer excuses mechanical compromise, and the standards Senna helped forge still rule the road. Join the conversation in the comments.